Well, they've already met in the O'Byrne Cup and Division 2 of the league. So for this third meeting of the neighbours this year, Westmeath are starting with goalkeeper Darren Quinn, and he's yet to be beaten in this year's championship. Their fullback Kevin Maguire has been playing at this level since 2010, and today he's flanked by Killian Daly and John Gilligan. The wing backs listed here are Paddy Holloway and Jimmy Dolan, a cousin of Desi, who of course was one of Westmeath's best. In the middle of the park, it's St. Loman's Paul Sherry alongside Dara Daly. The half-forward line shows team captain Ger Egan wearing number 11 with the largely inexperienced Ray Connellan on his right-hand side. While up front for the Lake County, there's a start for Lorcan Smith alongside John Heslin and Shane Dempsey. Well, opponents Meath have Paddy O'Rourke in goal, starting his 24th championship match. The most recognised member of the full back line is Donncha Tobin, while it's a debut for Conor McGill, unable to play against Wicklow because of injury. Mickey Burke came off the subs bench in that match to lend experience, and today he's one of 4 changes made by the team management. Another is in midfield, where one of Meath's very best, Kevin Riley, comes into partner Harry Rooney. It's Riley's 43rd championship match. Graham Riley and Andrew Tormey in the half-forward line were goal scorers in that quarter-final tie, while Porrick Harnan has made the switch now from wing-back. And the late change that you may be hearing about, it's involving the corner forward Eamon Wallace, a former sprint champion of course, and he's coming in for Mickey Newman, who also missed the game against Wicklow. I sense that Meath are a bit uneasy about facing their age-old rivals, but Westmeath have still, of course, to get the better of them. And even though Meath have an excellent record against their near neighbours, there is still concern for them that nothing can be taken for granted. I'm certain Mick O'Dowd here is of that mind. That plus the fact that Meath's form this year has fluctuated wildly. Beating Westmeath today is just a means to an end for Mick O'Dowd's players. But these Westmeath players under Tom Crevan, well, a victory over their bittersweet rivals would represent a remarkable day's work. Alongside me is Tom Carr. Can they do it?
Sure, I agree with the lads' prediction in terms of the outcome of the game, and I'm not sure I agree fully with the logic behind that prediction. I don't see why people are tipping Westmeath as this being their best opportunity to beat Meath. Their league performance has been poor over the last 2 years. They've played Louth and Wexford, and on the basis of that you can't really assess them. Meath, on the other hand, are a bit more experienced, but I wouldn't give them too much credit either. Both of them are in the second tier of football in the country. I think that Meath's ace in Graham Riley and Stephen Bray, I'm not sure how the Westmeath defence will cope with that. I'm also not 100% sure how John Heslin and Shane Dempsey, who I feel will be left inside for Westmeath, will get on against the Meath defence, who have tightened up considerably. I don't think they showed everything they wanted to show against Wicklow. In fact, it was a nondescript game in terms of real championship football.
Well, just before the action gets underway, there's going to be a moment's reflection now here in Croke Park, because in recent weeks, of course, Ireland has been beset by a number of tragedies which have impacted directly on the GAA. And today at Croke Park, we're remembering all those who've sadly passed away. And that includes Lorna Carty of the Dunderry GAA club in County Meath, and also Lawrence and Martina Hayes from Athlone, tragically killed in that dreadful afternoon in Tunisia. Gadugadia, Suivnus, Shiria, Don Anamnacha.
We also remember Lawrence and Martina Hayes from Athlone, who also died in the same incident. We offer our sympathies from Croke Park this afternoon to the bereaved families.
And so we are set for the first of the Leinster football semi-finals for this year. Croke Park still filling up. And it is Westmeath who won the toss, and they've opted to play, as we will be looking at it with the cameras, from right to left in the first half. The referee is Conor Lane from Cork. His linesmen are Derek O'Mahony from Tipperary and Fergal Barry, who's from Kildare. And the Kildare Miners had a wonderful victory over Dublin just before this in the semi-final of the Minor Championship. That senior match involving Dublin and Kildare, of course, coming up here on this channel at 4 o'clock. But first, it's down to business. Meath seeking to reach a Leinster final for a 4th successive year. Westmeath hoping to get back on final day for the first time since the heady days of 2004. So away we go. Westmeath getting the first touch there through Dara Daly, but it's picked up by Donald Keoghan. And away they set off through the middle with Pádraig Harnan now in his new role, has been there throughout the league. Nicely in here. Eamon Wallace setting it up. Stephen Bray involved. Great score. Perfect opening for Meath inside the opening 30 seconds.
Yeah, very smart, very slick, and straight away Meath, I was just wondering how they'd line out. Straight away they brought Tormey to the middle of the park, switched him with Rooney. Kevin Riley playing out there as well, but 2 kick passes straight into the danger man Bray, and he sticks it over the bar very easily.
Westmeath now trying to settle down here. Kieran Martin, who's played in the forwards, wearing number 6 this afternoon, ready to take off. Harnan goes after him. Nicely found inside there is the danger man Shane Dempsey, just 20 years of age. He's done well in the championship so far. The great block by James McEntee, one of the newcomers for Meath at this level. Second championship match for him, goes after it himself. Mickey Burke then. Paddy O'Rourke belting it away out here, but it's a clearance that reaches Pádraig Harnan. Has options now ahead of him. 3 men in the inside line. One of them is Brian McMahon up against Killian Daly. Still they work it here, and it's Graham Riley taking that pass and putting it over, and Meath are 2 to the good.
Well, we mentioned 2 guys at the beginning of the game, Stephen Bray and Graham Riley, and if Westmeath could cope with them, they might have a chance in this game, but so far they haven't coped, and Meath looking much sharper, much more up for the game, really on breaking ball, very good at the back. Shane Dempsey got blocked down. They're a little bit naive by him, but Meath take the advantage and go up and score a point.
And it's interesting that Eamon Wallace was involved in the creation of both of those scores early on. Graham Riley, the player who scored that second point, is the one who has felt the effects of the challenge that came in, and immediately the medical team go in to attend to him. Owen Clark, the doctor, and Barry McEntee. That was John Gilligan coming across here. I think Jimmy Dolan was trying to catch him as well, and certainly Graham Riley came off second best.
Yeah, I think it's innocuous enough. I think he'll get up from that. Meath need him to get up from that. And the man you mentioned there, Eamon Wallace, I think what he brings to the Meath forward line is sheer pace. And he has plenty of that in terms of Mickey Newman, who unfortunately was injured. And Pádraig Harnan, who we know that name well with Meath. What a worker on a half-forward line to have.
Well, Graham Riley should be okay. Certainly the management team is hoping so. Trevor Giles there alongside Mick O'Dowd. What a great player Trevor was in that team that Pádraig Harnan's uncle Liam was a member of course, late 80s, beginning of the 90s. Darren Quinn taking this. Westmeath now needing just to get on the ball, begin to settle a little better. Here's they're very good players, Paul Sharry. Ray Connellan taking it in here against Donncha Tobin. Back to John Heslin, the UCD player outside of the boot, has a go. Finds the range brilliantly. It's a great score. And that's a point to settle them down.
And just as the lads mentioned in the studio, he's probably one of the best kickers of the ball that I have seen in Gaelic football, either from dead ball positions or from play. Once he gets that little bit of space, he will convert 9 times out of 10.
Every attack so far has yielded something. It's a very good start. Paddy O'Rourke once again. Flicked on well that time. Chance for Kevin Riley to go after it, following that flick on by Andrew Tormey. Westmeath retaining the possession here. Paddy Holloway, who's did a marking job on Graham Riley. And where Riley goes, expect Holloway to go after him. Free kick which John Gilligan's got to take. They go short. Gilligan's played much of his football at centre half back. That's a kind of nondescript pass into no man's land. Certainly nobody in a maroon shirt. An easy one for Harry Rooney to get onto. Porrick Harnan in quickly into Bray, bounces kindly for him. Two defenders, they can't get to him. And that one's kicked over the bar. It's Brian McMahon who's got it.
Yeah, what a great score by Brian McMahon. And what's happening in there, Ger, is that Stephen Bray and McMahon are alternating on the point of the square. But a ball lazily lost there by Kevin Riley on the line ends up with Meath and a score. And so far they've made the Westmeath defence look very porous.
3-1 and they're coming again. And once again it's McMahon here, but the bounce deceives him this time. And that is a wide ball, and I think it's the first of the match for Meath.
Yeah, and the Westmeath attack there, I'm just looking, Ray Kennellan has been moved into the full forward line beside Shane Dempsey, and John Heslin has come out around the 45, so they're playing in a line, 3 forwards. Darren
Quinn, they try to flick it on here. The other Daly tried to flick that one on. Retaining it here, Lorcan Smith. Called back into the team. Real hit and hope one here. They're in after it. Goalkeeper gathers brilliantly. Good fielding by Paddy O'Rourke. He had big Ray Kennellan there coming in on top of him. Mickey Burke. Retained by Harry Rooney. Tormey now, feeding it forward. And once again, that early ball is going in, time and again. And they've got players inside like Eamon Wallace and Brian McMahon. It's Wallace this time. On to his left. Beautiful score. Deserved that.
That's real copybook stuff, Ger. He turned his man, soloed with his right foot, cut inside, made the angle for himself, had one look up, knew he had the opportunity and kicked it very confidently with his left foot.
Well, 4 points to 1 after 6 minutes. Just illustrates the dominance of Meath when it comes to converting their scoring opportunities. They've been very efficient, and that's sloppy by Westmeath. Back into Harnan again. Quickly distributed. Nicely kicked by Donald Keoghan, but not on target. And that is their second wide.
Yeah, and Westmeath need to be careful. It's mistakes like that that get punished. The good teams will punish you severely with mistakes. On that occasion, Meath failed to do so. But it's the sloppiness of the play, and each team will get plenty of opportunities, plenty of possession. It's how they convert it.
Lots of interchange among the Meath forwards. For a while there, Graham Riley was in at quarter forward. Then he pushed back out again, leaving space inside. Harnan now trying to exploit that space. Dished off there quickly to Andrew Tormey. Didn't quite come in for him. 2 wides in a row then, but they're leading by 4 points to 1 after 7 minutes. And they've done most of the attacking.
Yeah, they've done all the attacking, but Tormey went on Harnan's outside there. He really should have cut to his inside and made a better angle for himself.
This time a shorter kick out. Works well. Ger Egan, team captain for Westmeath, needs to get his hands on the ball, needs to be influential. Lorcan Smith playing out as a third midfielder. Sharry now picking it up. Paul Sharry challenged over vigorously by Andrew Tormey, the referee has decided. Westmeath deciding to leave this free kick for John Heslin to take. It's a good 50 metres out. Well, presumably he's going to try and go for it. The breeze, such as it is today, is light. It's slightly against him. It's going short. Lorcan Smith again, trying to open up the Meath defence inside. That one has kicked right of the post, and a missed opportunity, missed by Ray Kennellan.
Yes, I'm surprised now that he missed that. He's quite a good kicker of the ball, good footballer, good pair of hands, and he was given a huge amount of room there by Tobin, who he led off him and turned him very easily.
Well, Westmeath have made a poor start, thankful to that John Heslin score. Just about keep them in the game in terms of the scoring sense, but we're only in the opening 10 minutes. Meath's free kicks taken by Mickey Burke. Kevin Riley kicking it long. Plenty of defenders back there, a weight of numbers paying for Westmeath. Quickly distributed by Kevin Maguire. Worked on smartly through Sharry. Flicked forward there by Holloway. Good movement here this time by Kennellan. Missed a chance a few minutes ago here. His marker following, that marker is Donncha Tobin. And this time it's a double bounce.
Yeah, that's a poor poor foul there by Westmeath, looking up for the opportunity. Had an opportunity to kick it first time when he turned and then pulled it back. And the likes of Egan and Shari and Martin, they really need to grab a hold of this game for Westmeath around the middle of the park.
Here's the pacey Eamon Wallace. He's come back from a cruciate injury that meant he missed all of last year in the championship, but he's back. His brother Joey among the subs, getting past Jimmy Dolan. This is dangerous back here. They're overdoing it. There was a great chance for Mickey Burke, I think, to have just slotted that past the goalkeeper. It's gone wide. What a goal chance that was.
Well, it was a certain goal. Right there, it was a certain goal. A better opportunity there, and palms it wide. Thought it was a 45. Umpire decided otherwise. No, off the post and away it went. But Meath really should have buried that one, Ger.
Dear, oh dear. Brian McMahon at the very end of it, but I think there was a chance just before that. From the kick-out, Ger Egan. Westmeath need to battle now. They need to work hard. Forget about the nerves. They've come here to do a job. 3 men on the inside line. Ray Kennellan. Sheer determination winning that one there for Donncha Tobin. Meath, mean business. Porrick Harnan. Movement ahead of him. They've been using the long ball diagonally and very effectively so far. Wallace has been involved time and again. Graham Riley's kicked one and now he's kicked the second.
Very well worked score. Great score. Porrick Harnan setting up, doing all the work there, and we knew he would do a whole heap of work around there. He opted not to give the short pass off his shoulder. He went for the long pass, and quite rightly you've pointed out, Ger, that's what they've done from the beginning of the game. Yes, they'll give the short pass, but if the long one is there, that's the priority.
Holloway's having his hands full so far, the number 5 for Westmeath, marking Graham Riley. Riley is such an unpredictable talent, but right now he's certainly in the mood. Here's Lorcan Smith. Not caught, fisted out, Menton able to start the next attack. Wave after wave of Meath attack. Porrick Harnan now trying to go by Kieran Martin, and then the referee spots the foul, which is committed about 35 metres out. Free in for Meath.
Difficulty for the Westmeath defence, Ger, has been the long ball, number 1, and has been the players running right through the middle, number 2. The 2 goal opportunities came from players running through the middle. All the points have come from long balls into the corners and very well converted by the Meath attack.
Well, in the absence of Mickey Newman in this championship, it's Andrew Tormey who's taking these free kicks. He kicked a goal and 9 in the match against Wicklow in the quarter-final. Well, the goal was from a penalty. 7 of the points were from free kicks. He also got a 45 that afternoon. This is about, as I say, 35 metres from the target. On a near-perfect afternoon for football. He catches it very badly, straight to John Gilligan. That's a poor kick by Tormey. Maybe a hint of a nerve there. Paul Shari. Oof. Hefty challenge on Gilligan. Swiftly back out again. Paul Shari from St. Lomans. Carried on here by Dennis Caroon. First time he's had his hands on the ball. Available there was Killian Daly. Never quite reached him. The passing is sloppy. And Meath have it back again. That's once again Brian Menton. Man of the match in so many of their league matches in Division 2 this season. All the way back to Tormey. Now Kevin Riley playing in his 43rd championship match. Eamon Wallace opted to go right and kick it in, but it's never going to reach the target. Darren Quinn begins the counter-offensive. Ger Egan way back there. Looking ahead of him now. While Meath have been booting the ball long, Westmeath have been carrying it into challenges, and it's slow and it's pedestrian and predictable. Shari looking ahead of him here. He sees one forward down there in the full forward line, but he's marked by 2 or 3 Meath players. Heslin kicks it way up into the air. Shane Dempsey might be able to go after it, but nowhere near the goalkeeper. Always going to be Paddy O'Rourke's.
Westmeath, they have John Heslin out around the 45. They have 2 guys inside, Kennellan and Dempsey, who are not particularly good in the air. Not one ball is stuck inside on either of those 2 players, and he come Meath again. The
debutant Conor McGill there, playing it beautifully inside for Stephen Bray, a point scorer already. And he takes too many steps with this one.
Yeah, and that attempt there, Ger, and the one by Eamon Wallace earlier, that's the type of stuff that makes Meath look average. Because at times they've been very good, their play has been good, their attack has been good, their intensity has been good, but then they come across with really basic errors, shots and over-carryings that they shouldn't do, and it makes them look very, very average.
Some 11 minutes now since Westmeath got their one and only point through this man here, John Heslin.
Yeah, and Meath have 4 scorers on the board. Westmeath have 1 scorer on the board, and they brought that scorer out the field.
Free kick's going to be taken by Paul Sharry. Going short to Dennis Caroon. Quickly laid off here. Connellan really asking an awful lot of Shane Dempsey to go chasing after that one. It's a hopeless ball.
Yeah, there's just a lack of purpose about the Westmeath attack. That was the fear from the beginning. It's where's the leadership going to come from? The good guys they have are ball carriers. They need to drive ball inside, but they need somebody to receive it.
Kevin Riley now. So good to see him back after all the problems he's had with hip problems. Harry Rooney, youngster, back as far as Porrick Harnan. Back it goes to Wallace. And again, steps been taken, and referee Conor Lane is very insistent that that rule is adhered to. Anybody stepping more than 4 paces with that ball in his hand is blown up by the ref.
Good decision by the referee.
Dara Daly. Here's Kevin Maguire. Taking it forward. Rooney was chasing after him. That's a terrible ball again by Maguire. And he's got to get back now to his full-back position because Mickey Burke and company are ready to launch the next attack. Controlled well this time by Brian McMahon. Then he loses it, but the referee says Killian Daly, pinching it, fouled as well.
Yeah, and another correct decision by the referee. He gave him the advantage. That didn't accrue, so he gets the free. But I'm not so sure this free either will be converted, especially after the last one that we saw. And they're certainly missing Newman in terms of free kicks.
Referees seem to indicate that there's a need for a temporary substitute. It looks like Porrick Harnan is the one who's having to go off that short free kick, as you can see. Back to Tormey again. This time coming out to gather it is Stephen Bray. And the 33-year-old lets fly with that left boot. Hits it truly and accurately. And another one for Meath. And they're doing all the scoring, and he's got 2 points. And they're ahead by 6 points to 1.
And doing all the scoring because of the better forward line. But a defence should never allow a guy come out, catch the ball, receive the ball, he's back to the goal, turn and have loads of time and loads of space to kick it over the bar. Very loose Westmeath defence.
Porrick Harnan's replacement, by the way, as a temporary sub, is the man who's on the programme, Mickey Newman. It's a great catch. Once again taking it out here, James McEntee. Strong, forceful character at cornerback. Donald Kilgan did well to hold on to that. Huge gaps, McMahon. Here's a chance. Oh, blocked by the goalkeeper after Mickey Newman was trying to hit his 6th ever championship goal and might have done so. Goalkeeper was terribly close to it. There's a Westmeath player injured on the ground, and that is Killian Daly. Play continues. They work it down here as far as Shane Dempsey. 45 minutes on the target, hit over the head of Lorcan Smith. Easy for the Meath defenders and Donncha Tobin to come and mop it up and to carry it out with 18 minutes gone. They're ahead by 6-1. They're still attacking. They're looking fresh and they're looking the business. Stephen Bray onto his right side, makes an angle for himself, but the angle was just a little too acute, and that becomes Meath's 5th wide.
And Meath would have had the perfect performance if it wasn't for some of those misses, and that being typical of the poor misses that they've had. Great save by the keeper, really got down on it, and also great bravery too by Kieran Martin, who doesn't lack that anyway. An opportunity. I thought that save might have been the catalyst for a Westmeath attack and getting back into this game, but their forward line is just not operating whatsoever.
Newman's off. Harnan goes back on. Well, any little doubt people might have had about whether or not this Meath team had it in them to come and take on the neighbours, whether they were going to be mentally driven to beat Tom Cribben's team, we've got our answer in the opening 20 minutes.
Well, for me, Ger, there was never any doubt that this Meath team was up. They've changed a third of their team, albeit they pulled one off before. They made 4 changes to copper fasten their team. It improved their team. They knew they would have to do that. And what they are doing is playing with intensity and a serious sense of purpose.
Meath, of course, the one Leinster team to have beaten Dublin in the last 5 years. Looking to get back into the Leinster final once again. Difficult ball there for Lorcan Smith to take. An impossible ball, really. There's no great cohesion. Instead, it's Meath and it's Tormey holding off the challenge. Graham Riley. Well, he's been flattened a few times. Donncha Tobin. Again, leaving it off down for Brian McMahon to go after. There's a covering defender there, but the first task is for Jimmy Dolan to put in a challenge. She fails to do so, not adequately anyway, but the ball has gone wide.
Another great opportunity for me. It really should have been a score. McMahon turned his man, did everything perfectly. The execution of the shot was poor. And really, Westmeath need to make some changes at this stage. Shari and Daly are not working in the middle of the park. They need to put either him or Heslin back in on the square and hoof a few balls in there.
Caroon sets up Paddy Holloway. Booting it down towards Heslin. Comes straight back here. Connellan hitting it with the left. Real hit and hope one there by Ray Connellan from Athlone.
Yeah, the difficulty for forward line in these circumstances, Gerard, they all become disjointed and each of them feel they have to rescue the game on their own, and you get attempts like that when really they need more composure and to settle down that little bit.
Kevin Riley from that kick out. There was poor marking. In fact, there was no marking on Kevin Riley when he was hitting that one out. Meath are playing at a different pace. Mickey Burke. Wallace once again. Back to Andrew Tormey. Slipped in here as far as Brian Menton. Menton now has enough room to get his kick in and to put in another point for Meath.
Well, it's all becoming kind of academic, Ger, at the minute. It's as we would predict traditionally, and we're conditioned to think this way in terms of Meath and Westmeath, and both of those teams are following script, not surprisingly so, and some surgery required by Tom Cribben at this stage.
18 minutes since Westmeath got their one and only point, and that kick out has been won once again by Meath, and they're just lining up now at this stage, and it's going to become a turkey shoot the way it's going. Eamon Wallace has got another.
Well, there's nobody marking, Ger. There is no Westmeath players picking up the Meath forwards. There is no man-to-man whatsoever, and whatever man-to-man there is way too loose. The Meath players are actually had to run from the goal, turn around, have a look. In one occasion, one player stopped and was able to kick the ball over the bar. The intensity is not with Westmeath, it's 100% with Meath.
This time they hold on to their own kick-out. Paul Shari, the one the goalkeepers managed to pick out. Former soccer player with Shamrock Rovers. He had a season 2009 playing left-back for them. This time he's hauled down.
Yeah, another tremendous carrier of the ball, Paul Shari. Probably over-carries the ball too much instead of using more foot passes. An opportunity for John Heslin, albeit it's a fair distance out.
Yes, it's on the 45-metre line, or very near, as you can see, but as the crow flies, you're looking at a distance of surely 50 metres. Taking it into his hands. His birthday this weekend. He was 23 yesterday. Now, having got the first point and only point for Westmeath from play, what can he do here? It's dropping in and dropping onto the netting and over the bar. Good work by John Heslin.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful to see that? It is an art in itself to be able to stroke a ball like that. Very little effortless in doing so. So smooth. Great score by John Heslin. Now can they build on it, because they need to. On
a beautiful afternoon at Croke Park. 5 between them. Again, Meath with, I was going to say, little difficulty holding on to their own kickouts, but that was a bit extravagant and careless. Could have done better than that. Mick O'Dowd won't be too pleased. Connellan rolls it into Dempsey. Quickly laid off Heslin. Good work. Here's a chance, and once again it's Kieran Martin. It's another goal for him. His 5th ever championship goal. coming at the 24th minute, and all of it as a result of a very bad kick-out, set his defence in difficulty, and Westmeath got going, and Martin in particular tore through the centre, and it's a peach of a finish.
Well, we talked about the little bit of sloppy play by Meath and made them look average. Well, that made them very average. Stupid kick-out, brilliant vision by John Hezon, great conversion by Martin. What a score, that's why he's not a centre-back.
Now it's Eamon Wallace, stung by that, suddenly appreciating what Westmeath might be able to do, and he kicks it over the bar as if to say, take that.
Yeah, and you have to say wow to that, Ger, because he scorched his man on the left-hand side, came in on his right foot and screwed it over the bar. There was no doubt in his mind whatsoever. What a response from Meath, and again, can they rebuild on the lead that they just forsook?
Again, this kick out into the centre is retained by Westmeath. They did well. Out to Kieran Martin. Forget about the number 6 on his back. Seems a more natural attacker. Laid off here to Shane Dempsey. From St. Lomans, will it come in? It does. His first point of the match, and a goal and 7 in this year's championship. Only his 3rd championship match.
Yeah, in the space of 2 minutes, the game has come alive, and the crowd has gone into it because we can hear them here behind us. What a great score by Shane Dempsey. He is well capable of doing that. Maybe goes for a little bit too often at times, but well worth his while doing so.
Now suddenly questions are being asked about Meath's resolve. And it's Westmeath picking up the brakes now. Paddy Holloway, 45 metres out. Inside here to Hesland, causing major problems for Conor McGill. This one starts out right and stays out right. It's just their 3rd wide of the first half.
Yeah, and the idea was right, and that's where Hesland should be, and that's the type of ball they need to hit him first time, not run it out the pitch, is give it in first time, give him the opportunity. Just the execution was poor. The decision to have a go was correct.
Well, this again was that wonderful run made straight through the centre by Kieran Martin, and a devastating finish. Holloway's coming for it, doesn't take it. It's brilliantly held by Harry Rooney. Oh, that's wonderful to see. 21 years of age from screen, Harry Rooney. Free kick quickly taken. They wait for it inside, and well they might, because Brian McMahon saw the defenders deceived, and he finishes with a plum.
Well, I suppose, Ger, it's inevitable at some stage. They've been getting in there all day. They've kicked 3 or 4 very poor wides. On that occasion, 2 defenders caught out, both of them going for the one ball right there. Forward does the right thing, stays back, cuts on the inside, comes back, thought he was going to pass it across, didn't need to, rifles it to the roof of the net. 2nd
ever championship goal. They've been at Croke Park, and it's 1-9 to 1-3. Well, we're not talking about blanket defences this afternoon. We're talking about 2 teams that are having a go. Meath the better, no question about that. And they're still going, and that's another one. Absolutely brilliant. Another by Brian McMahon, 2 in a row.
Well, for a minute there, I thought it was Groundhog Day. He did it in the very same fashion. He finished it in the same fashion. What a score. What a 2 minutes by Meath, and that surely puts them in an unassailable position.
Oh, this is magnificent. What a finish.
And you can't beat pace, Ger, and that's what they bring to it. Those guys, they might be light, they might be small, but they bring pace to it, and they're good footballers.
Killian Daly doesn't know what's after hitting him, up against one of the fastest men in Gaelic football. Again, that long ball in is causing so many problems. That's going to be a free from about 22, 23 metres out.
Yeah, it's a free, Ger, but how many times in the last 28 minutes have we seen that ball on the point of the D and nobody covering it off? And we talked about blanket defences, and I know either team are not adopting that tactic at the minute. It's quite traditional, but most teams will play a sweeper right in front of the full back. Westmeath not doing so, but they need to.
Well, one thing we're not talking about is the number of hand passes that we normally see in a Gaelic Games championship match in the middle of June.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is that most teams are thinking, how do we get by the blanket defence? And that is, you can do that by kicking the ball. And managers are trying to come up with ways of beating the blank in the face, and that at the defence, and that is certainly one way. Is just how good you can be at it.
John Connellan, as you can see there, has come in to replace Dara Daly for Westmeath. Andrew Tormey now has his easiest free kick. This is his third. Missed the first, went short with the second. Should be his first point of the match as well. Oh, helped out by the goalkeeper. He's not kicking the ball all that terribly well, is he?
Well, he's kicking it with a total lack of confidence. He's trying to guide the ball over the bar rather than belt it over the bar from, 25, 30 yards. Every inter-county footballer can do that, but that might give him the little bit of confidence, and it makes 5 out of the 6 Meath forwards having scored. Harnan the only one not to do so, but what an amount of work he is doing.
23, Jamie Gunood has just come in. And the player going off has been Killian Daly, yes, having major problems against Brian McMahon. No great surprise.
Absolutely, Ger, and unfortunate for him. He's a fine young fella, fine player, and he is a man for the future. And Gunood has his work cut out for him as well.
10 points between them. John Gilligan. Down into the corner to Shane Dempsey. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Into Heslin. Having to do it on his own, however. Looking at the angle, it strikes the upright. They deserve that little bit of luck. And he's got 3 points.
Yeah, good score by Heslin. Great score by Heslin, in fact, even though there was 2-3 Meath players trailing him out there, trying to stop him kicking the ball. But he will kick it from anywhere. He'll have a go from anywhere. And yes, he is on his own in terms of forwards.
Once again, a poor kick out straight to Shane Dempsey. And Shane Dempsey is another to find the range and get another point.
Yeah,
2 points for Shane Dempsey.
In fairness to Westmeath, they're not going away. What they're doing is capitalising on Meath mistakes, especially on kickouts. I think that's the second score that Westmeath have got from kickouts, bad kickouts by Meath.
They struggle to hold on to it, Paul Sharry there, but Jerry Egan's got it into Lorcan Smith. Just ahead here of John Connellan. And looks at it, hopes that it'll go in. It doesn't quite work for John, however. And that ball tailing away.
Yeah, poor effort. Could have led to a goal if he was a little more penetrating with his run. James McEntee just let him inside, was quite naive in defending there. So Meath maybe have weathered a little bit of a storm, and certainly the 2 goals that they got in the space of a few minutes helped them to do that. Westmeath, still, if you look at the scoreboard, Jared, they're still 8 points behind.
There's a little push there, and the push was by Andrew Tormey. Free kick to Westmeath. Lorcan Smith's looking up to take it. Seeing a good run forward here. Once again, it's John Gilligan. Angling for the shot. Oh, it was wide, but Westmeath are wondering about whether the goalkeeper saved it, and in doing so carried it out over the end line. And should it be a 45 instead?
Well, that's what it looked like to me. I thought he went to save it, stop it, which is actually the correct thing to do. But the umpires and the referee now are happy enough that he stopped it behind the line.
Let's have a look at it again here.
Yeah, ball goes in. You'd have to be on the end line to see that one, Gerard,
yeah.
But happy enough with the umpire's decision.
Westmeath have bodies over there now, but as they do so, they slide in and they foul Donald Keoghan. And Keoghan limps away from it. Dennis Caroon, one of those committing the foul. Boric Harnan coming again on his right-hand side. Beautifully in here to the pacey Brian McMahon. Laid off. Wallace. Another one.
It's that same ball again, Ger, right onto the edge of the D. I'm not sure why Westmeath haven't picked up on it, but every single time they're not putting it to the corners, which a lot of teams do because it's the easy ball. It's the diagonal ball, back straight onto the top of the D, forward running out, simple off pass on the shoulder, and easy point.
And Tom, of that tally of 2-11, from my stats, I think only 1 point so far is from a free kick.
That is correct.
That bounces away here, and again Meath have the protective players back there. Not quite a blanket defence by any matter of means, but intelligent players, mobile players like Kevin Riley, and now Graham Riley, his namesake, picking it up. Dropping it in here dangerously into Bray. Gets away from his man, Kevin Maguire, but kicks it poorly in the end by his high standards. Yeah. 2 points already today.
And same again, Ger, that ball straight in there like that. I'm not sure who's advising Tom Criven or who's his eye in the sky, but they need to tell him something very quickly.
The full forward line today so far, Tom, I think 2 goals and 7 points coming from the 3 of them. All from play.
Massive score.
And a lack of security, as you've been just saying there, in that Westmeath defence. Probably should have had extra bodies back there. Here's Jamie Gonood. Out and lost there by John Gilligan. Robbed by Graham Riley. Riley, the St. Columb Kills player, gets his 3rd point of the opening half. And we're in the 35th minute, and it's been mostly Meath.
Yeah, you can't do that. You just cannot give away the ball like that. That is simple stuff. Taking the ball into the tackle, losing it with no cover inside you whatsoever. There was actually a goal on there, Gerard, because he had a man to his right, but he opted to take the point.
Well, Westmeath have been making Meath look like a Division 1 league team, but Meath haven't been a League Division 1 team for 10 years. Indication of the job that Mick O'Dowd has taken on. Not an easy time to be Meath manager.
No, because so much is expected of them, and they haven't even been performing like a Meath team for the last few years.
Kieran Martin, the Meath goal scorer, and that curls between the uprights and beautifully in here. So a goal and a point for Kieran Martin, playing in his 16th championship match this afternoon. Double scores, 2-12 to 1-6, 9 between them.
And I know he's lined out at number 6 on his back, but he's not playing there, and we didn't expect him to play in there. Probably one of the better forwards that Westmeath have.
Harry Rooney was following the flight path perfectly there. Andrew Tormey anticipating that the breaks might come his way. Trying to play it through to Stephen Bray. Cut out this time by Jimmy Dolan. It reaches Kieran Martin. Drop kicks it out here quickly, out as far as Lorcan Smith. To their credit, Westmeath have just gone at it as best they can, trying to plug away and trying to pick off the odd score. But the greater method has undoubtedly come from Donald Keoghan's team. Back out to Eamon Wallace. 4 points in the first half so far. Unable to add to it. That is 8 wides now for Meath. There have been 5 for Westmeath so far.
Yeah, and again, that's really sloppy play by Eamon Wallace, even though he's been brilliant this afternoon, but tempering that with just play that won't get them by against the better teams.
Dennis Caroon. Here's Lorcan Smith. Oof. Did well to keep it in play. John Connellan. Smith giving it back to Connellan. 2 Connellans now in the Westmeath 15 on the park. They're taking their time over this one, labouring the build-up somewhat, but then getting it into the main man. This time it's Ger Egan.
Yeah, what Westmeath lack, Ger, is that penetration. There's too much holding up the ball out the park, having a look, no target men inside, or they lack the confidence in the men inside to win those 50-50 balls, which they haven't been doing so far in the game.
John Heslin, scorer of 3 points so far, match deep into stoppage time. We're well over the 2 minutes indicated by the referee. Won't be too much more, I think, after this. Currently 9 between them. So can he give Westmeath a feel-good factor going in? A little bit better than they might otherwise feel, that is. He's got a 4th point. The referee has blown his half-time whistle here. It's been mostly Meath, and Brian McMahon has scored 2 goals in the space of 60 seconds in the 27th and 28th minute, and that really has just underlined their superiority in the opening 35 minutes, where it's finished here in the opening half. Meath 2-12, Westmeath 1-7. David Lynch, number 25, has been introduced here by manager Tom Criven. So he's gone back into the half-back line. And he's right now picking up Kevin Riley. It'll be interesting to see just how they figure out in terms of where everybody plays once we get the game underway, because very often for the throw-in it's just deception time. And then once the ball's thrown in, they all assume the positions that the managers or coaches have given them for the start of the real start of the game of football. Comparing and contrasting the two half-forward lines, Tom, I haven't seen that Westmeath half-forward line function at all, really.
No, they haven't. One of the difficulties is they're not winning enough ball out around the middle of the park. They're actually not getting back deep enough to help their defence, and that's part of the defensive difficulty that Westmeath are experiencing.
Well, Ray Connellan has gone in for that throw-in, was fouled, and he takes that first free kick of the second half to Kieran Martin. As I mentioned, worry number 6, but not playing there. He's up on the half-forward line. He's attacking, playing it in here. That one is kicked by John Kennelly. And they're trying to influence the umpires, the defenders, but they don't influence them. And John Kennellan, who's playing in his 12th ever championship match, has got a point here. And that's a good start to the second half by Westmeath. And it was created very much by Kieran Martin.
And Westmeath are going to get one opportunity to get back into this game, and it has to be early in this half, because if they let it drift into 15-20 minutes, it's not going to happen for them. Now they've a chance of a little springboard to build an opportunity in this game.
Lorcan Smith, we think, is the one who was replaced by David Lynch. Meath now trying to launch their first start of the second half, first attack, involving Graham Riley. Back to Andrew Tormey. Once again, Wallace getting involved. Back out to Porrick Harnan. Certainly a change for him to be up on the half-forward line. Stephen Bray now has options, surrounded by Westmeath players, trying to slip it inside for Wallace. Does enough on it, and his determination got there, but he couldn't quite steer it on target as he wanted to. Great first half for him, 4 points.
Yeah, but really shouldn't have been allowed the opportunity to kick that ball. Westmeath had stopped up the play, had turned back the Meath attack, and still he gets in for an easy shot.
Well, this is the new player in here, David Lynch, playing it forward here for Paddy Holloway. Support here by Dennis Caroon from Mullingar Shamrocks. Shane Dempsey getting out there, trying to chip it, but lucky to get it back here. Still they move forward, and it's John Kennellan again. Got the first point of the second half, and now he's got a second. He was out of the picture for about 5 seasons, I seem to remember, having made his debut back around 08-09. But he's back in here, and he's certainly making a difference at the beginning of the second half.
And he's making a difference with a certain amount of style as well, because that's a super score by John Kennellan, giving Westmeath another little opportunity. They may pick up in confidence a little bit. They've moved Ray Kennellan to the middle of the park, where he's probably more suited, more room.
What you like about Kennellan, what I like about him anyway, he's not afraid to get hurt. He goes in there to those challenges, determined to win the ball. David Lynch lost that one to Porrick Harnan. And Harnan, as he was trying to get away, was being dragged back, so the free kick awarded by referee Conor Lane from Cork. Swept out here to Mickey Burke, now 29 years of age. Businesslike as ever, into Graham Riley. 3 points in the opening half. Tries to get away from his man. Lovely ball back here to Riley, 20 metres out, just composed himself, and a lovely little chip over the bar. That's a peach.
Yeah, he's shown a great amount of maturity this afternoon, because he scored 2 or 3 points in the first half that he could have gone for goal, but knowing in his heart and soul they don't need it. Meath don't need to score goals. What the Meath supporters want to see from this team at the minute is ruthlessness. What the Westmeath supporters want to see is a little bit of spirit. Can they dig in? Can they make a go of this game and get back into it?
Shane Dempsey, who got 2 points in the first half, has now been replaced by Dennis Glennon. And Dennis Glennon has a great pedigree, of course, as a championship player. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does in his 39th championship appearance for his county. That ball all the way up to John Kennellan once again. Fed in by Ger Egan. Taken back by Heslin. Can he do the business in the second half? Not with that kick. Score of 4 points in the opening half. 2 of them were from free kicks.
Yeah, that's a little bit wild, but just the lads were talking about the sweeper there. The sweeper has to be one of your best readers of play on the team. He's got to be able to read the play better than any other player. First thing he's got to do, Ger, is be in the vision of the kicker. And that's what the Meath sweeper has done there. That's why John Heslin had to go from out the pitch, because he looked up and all he saw was the sweeper in front of him.
Dropped down by Ray Kennellan. Onto it came Gilligan. Needing support, getting support. Kennellan again now on his own 65-metre line. Chipped ahead by Dolan. This time it's Heslin is out to it, surrounded by Meath players, and Donald Keoghan was not going to let go of him.
No, well, you just can't tackle a man like that. That's it, and that's a little bit of naivety there by Donald Keoghan. The intention was right, the intensity, he wanted the intensity, but you can't put your arms around a man. In fact, you can't really touch him at all. You can only play the ball.
Well, he's had a few practices at these now, John Heslin. 35 metres out from the target. Very little breeze around Croke Park today. Sun's gone in. Goodish crowd. And that's directly over the bar. First of the second half for the St. Lomans player.
Yeah, he'll do that all day, Ger. He's noted for his kicking. He's a super kicker. You'd just like to see him get more involved in the game because he's a big, burly guy. He's well able to do it. He's great balance. He's great ability, great pair of hands, great feet. He needs to show leadership.
Westmeath 3-1 up in the second half, but 6 points behind. But they're coming again, and it's Paul Sharry. They're giving it a go. And this time he has carried it forward too far. And once again, the referees, certain referees have certain things that they're always very insistent on, and clearly Conor Lane is very, very fussy about the steps. Correctly so. Donald Keoghan gathered in by McMahon somehow, almost lost it, but then it is taken away unfairly from Graham Riley, and the referee saw the hand held, so it's going to be a free in. Another chance.
And a bit of cuteness there by Graham Riley as well. He knew that he was held. He actually let the ball go because he knew there was a better opportunity of getting the free or getting the score from the free rather than taking it on himself. So just showing his bit of experience.
And that experience stretching back over 8 playing seasons now in the championship. Scored a goal and 4 against Wicklow in the last round. Lovely club, that St. Columkille's club that he's a member of. Andrew Tormey, one-pointed free, and that was from about 20 metres out earlier on up at the other end of Croke Park. This is 35 metres from the target. Should come in on its way and over.
Well, he showed more conviction in that one from 35 yards than he did from the first one from about 20 yards, but good score for him, good for his confidence in terms of the free taken.
Kevin Maguire. Ray Kennellan was left unmarked by Harry Rooney. Rooney trying to get the hands in. Giving it away to Kennellan, that's John Kennellan. Ger Egan now from Tyrrell's pass. On to Jimmy Dolan. Jimmy, who's a student at Athlone IT, give it away to Ger Egan, and they lost it between them. And Donald Keoghan's able to feed that ball forward to Andrew Tormey. Tormey has Graham Riley, and he's also got Eamon Wallace. Wallace tried to lay it off here. He had McMahon outside and held on too long.
Well, I think a good decision by the referee there. He's been very consistent with overcarry, and yes, he did hold on to it too long. Felt he was being fouled. I didn't think he was being fouled. So once again, referee having a good game and making a good decision.
Paddy Holloway, quick hands, back out to Sharry. Kieran Martin, the goal scorer after 24 minutes for Westmeath. Fed forward by Dennis Caroon. Now John Heslin. Been marked there by Donald Keoghan. Keoghan not giving up. Giving Heslin very little this afternoon, it has to be said. Holloway, back once again. Fed forward by Ger Egan. On now for Dennis Glennon. Westmeath fans expecting something special from him. That was touched by the defender. It's going to be a 45. First time we've seen Dennis Glennon involved since coming in.
Yeah, and I don't know how long more he's going to be involved with Westmeath. This could be his last year, and this could be his, well, part of his last half hour, 20 minutes. He's got to show something. He has the ability. He actually needs to win the ball and take his man on because he is very capable of doing so. But himself and John Heslin have been the stalwart, really, of the Westmeath team in terms of forward line over the last 2 or 3 years. But unproductive today, really.
The Dubs are here for match 2. That's at 4 o'clock. We saw David Dalton there being prepared by Mick O'Dowd, and Paul Sharry is ready to hit this 45. Little breeze whipping up now as he hits it, guides it in beautifully. Paul Sharry's first from the 45. Westmeath get another.
Yeah, and they're hanging in this game. If you walked in, you'd say that Westmeath are not out of this game, but you always get the feeling when they make a little go at it that Meath are capable of coming up and getting maybe a goal or getting 2 or 3 points. But certainly Westmeath are showing a bit of spirit. They're not going away, and the likes of Paul Sherry, he's now being deployed as the sweeper because he is a good reader of the game, stepping up to take a great 45.
It looks like it's Harry Rooney who's made way there. David Dalton on. I saw Mickey Burke coming across the field as well. Play continues, and this is Brian Menton. Cracking one from about 25 metres out, turned away in disgust the minute it had left his right boot. Very unhappy with that.
Yeah, and that's the type of stuff I'm talking about in terms of a top-class team. Top-class teams don't do that, and they've been doing it in the first half. It happened to them 3 or 4 times. Simple opportunities, tap it over the bar or hand off another pass and make it a simple score. And that's the ruthlessness, or the lack of ruthlessness, that Meath are showing, or not showing.
This kick out is a searching one. Let's see who's going to win it. Jimmy Dolan got a toe to it. Back to Gilligan. Westmeath having a go. Paddy Holloway. Oh, tripped Graham Rowley. Might see a card for that.
Yeah, I don't think there was a whole lot in it. Graham Riley put his hands up. You always know by the body language of the players immediately after any incident. It was really rolled over his leg.
Oh, it's
a black. Oh, I think that is very harsh, Ger. That's not a black card. He didn't do it on purpose. There was no malice whatsoever in it. I'm totally surprised. First poor decision by the referee.
It's a missed challenge on the part of Graham Riley, and the referee has given him the black. And so Meath will have to replace the player who's got 4 points already in this match, and it begins to hot up a little bit now. And Ger Egan has it, trying to go through, stopped by Donald Keogan. There are 6 between them. Mickey Newman is ready to come back in, and he will be the substitute replacement for Graham Riley.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad, Ger, if it wasn't Graham Riley, any other player, but he's a serious player for Meath, an experienced leader on the pitch, and that probably will fire up Meath as much as anything else because they feel they've been harshly done by.
Tormey. That's thrown away there. Comes back to Tormey. There's a big gap. Mickey Newman, nobody on him. Took a while for John Gilligan to get out and appreciate where he was, and it was far too late by that stage. And Mickey Newman helps himself to a first point of the afternoon here.
What a great score by Mickey Newman. He did find himself in a huge amount of space. How he wasn't picked up by a Westmeath defender, I'm not quite sure, but the execution, the kick was absolutely superb. He had no doubt about it the minute it left his boot.
2:15 to 1:11 means it's 21 to 14, 7 points between them. Might be 8 in a moment. Beautifully gathered in by McMahon. 2 goals and a point so far. Beautiful spin, lovely turn. Wonderful execution. He's tormented that Westmeath full back line.
Well, in fairness to all the Meath full forward line, they've tormented the Meath full back line. They've tormented, or the Westmeath full back line. They've tormented the Westmeath defence in total.
Well, that is the black card again there we've just seen. It's very much at the discretion of the referee. Absolutely intentional is the wording. Gilligan in the D. Oh dear. Back into defence for John Gilligan.
Well, as he kicked it, there's a number 4 on his back. That's on it for a reason. He's better off down at right corner back around the half-back line. Poor effort, good build-up. Westmeath just let a chance go there. And the face of Graham Riley, I think, says it all. He's not quite sure, why am I sitting here?
We're used to defenders getting black cards when defenders wrap their arms around a player and drag him down intentionally.
And that's exactly what the reason for the purpose of the black card was, and I just didn't see it in Graham Riley's challenge there.
Well, it's interpretation, a matter of interpretation by the match referee. Once again, it is Westmeath who pick it up here with Ray Connellan. Lost, however, gathered in by Donald Keogan. Bad ball out of defence, looking for Stephen Bray.
Yeah, even the Westmeath kicking the foot passes, they're too difficult, too tight. They're down the barrel of a gun trying to hit a man and not putting them into a little bit of space the way Meath are.
Wonder will he be happy enough with the opening 14 minutes of the second half. He'll have expected Westmeath to come out and show what they can do to some extent, considering they were 8 behind at half-time. And I guess Westmeath rather, have done so. But it's up to Meath now themselves to keep the pressure on, keep that high tempo going. Brian McMahon certainly is having a wonderful game. They come once more, and that one is cracked over the bar. Beautifully done by Stephen Bray, his third.
Oh, they're killing the Westmeath defence. And watch number 4 there for Westmeath. He gets caught with the one ball and allows the man cut inside. He really should hang back in there and wait for the ball to be turned inside and meet the man. Didn't do so. A lot of naivety in there.
What a player Stephen Bray has been over the years. 10 years playing senior football for Meath. Paul Sharry waited for it, down to Dennis Glennon. Fed inside, it's Martin. He's got one goal. He's got a second. Another for Kieran Martin, and this one coming after 51 minutes.
Yeah, they're not going away. We said we wouldn't go away, and Kieran Martin, that man, he's certainly showing it all. And that's, again, the lack of ruthlessness by Meath. They should have won that kick-out. They should be up scoring another point, but they're not. They're allowing Westmeath to hang in this game. Anything can happen, Gerard, but you still fancy Meath to be able to do it when they need to do it. But so much comes down to the psychology of little incidents on the pitch.
As an attacking force, Meath, I think, have been excellent. Defensively, they've conceded 2-11 after 51 minutes.
Absolutely, 2-11 is enough to win a game, and they will go nowhere conceding those type of scores and the way they're conceding them.
Free kick to Meath. Cleverly used by Mickey Newman. Allowed the ball to beat him and then went back, retrieved it. Gives it off to the pacey Eamon Wallace. Inside to Bray. Maguire is behind him, can't catch him. It's still Bray, 2 after him, 3 after him. Like the Pied Piper. Gets it back to Tormey, kicking from 45 metres, hanging up in the air, but going nowhere in a hurry.
Yeah, and again, that's more of it. Bray does absolutely brilliantly to get it out to Tormey. He had a man on his right-hand side for a simple pass and would have been a simple score, didn't deliver it, and that is going to hurt them in tighter games.
Kevin Maguire here. He's done well to make it to this game because he came into it with a couple of black cards already this season, and there were worries he mightn't make it, but he's there. Caroon, John Heslin. Heslin with that left. Beautifully done. He's got a 6th.
Yeah, he's beginning to do it now. I was wondering as that ball flew, was it going over? But certainly the umpire indicates that it was. There was no doubt in it whatsoever. And Meath have come apart a little bit. They're gone very ragged. They've lost their way in defence. They've lost their way in midfield. And because of that, their attack is not as potent.
Only 5 between them at this stage. And there's still 18 minutes to be played. And they've got the ball back, Westmeath, and Gilligan has it into Holloway. Waiting for it to come, Ray Connellan. Can they get the next score? The substitute, John Connellan, 2 points already, trying to barrel his way forward. And he went off a defender. It's gone for a 45.
Yeah, between him and Martin and Jerrigan and big strong fellas like that running at the Meath defence. They're very effective. Yeah, he doesn't stop. He puts the head down, stays going, even though there's 3 Meath defenders after him. Good play by Westmeath. They're certainly getting their foothold in this game, and they look like they have an intention of staying in it.
They're suddenly asking very serious questions about some very inexperienced players playing in that back line for Meath. And Tom Cribben, I think, we're very pleased with the way things have gone in the second half. His first year in charge, former manager of Laois and Offaly as well. And right now it's Paul Sharry who kicked the last 45 and put it over. Now this one will put just 4 between them against a leaky enough Meath defence. Doesn't take too many steps back. The power is all in that left boot. Almost like a chip. Same technique, same result. 4 points the margin.
Yeah, 4 points the margin, and the momentum is with them. More importantly, but Sharry kicks a great score there. And you talked about his steps. I'd say there was about 3 steps to kicking the ball, and he had loads of time with it. The crowd are getting into this. They sense something, and Meath under huge pressure, Ger.
Well, Westmeath have got 9 points now in the second half. And they try to hold on to this one with Caroon in there, bending his back to try and get it. And win it back for Meath, however. Adam Flanagan, one of the second half substitutes. Newman. Stolen back again here by Jimmy Dolan. How his cousin Desi would love to be out there playing. Recently retired. One of the greats of Westmeath. Beautifully down here. Controlled by Dennis Glennon. Can he turn it on now? Glennon. Still going forward. Still Glennon. Can't beat the goalkeeper from that angle. Paddy O'Rourke. Back out as far as Brian Menton. 2:17 to 2:13. 15 minutes remaining at Croke Park in this first of the Leinster football semi-finals for 2015. Trying to crash his way out there was Pádraig Harnan. Tobin had moved forward. Nobody picked him up. Down towards Bray, spins away from him. Back into collected is Brian McMahon. Score of 2-2. Looking for another one, and the 22-year-old is just out of luck on this occasion.
He is out of luck, but he was out of ideas as well. Really, they should have held on to that ball. Not showing any composure whatsoever, Meath. And it's like everything in sport or in everything in every game, and teams can learn from this. Meath are a different team since Westmeath upped the intensity in the game and actually went out there. When they thought they were losing the game, they started going after the game, and they've made Meath look very ordinary.
Well, their work rate has been impressive, Westmeath, and the men in the maroon jerseys are coming again. John Gilligan. Down to John Kennellan. Into Dennis Glennon. Thought about the quick early pass. Gets it past James McEntee from Meath. They hold on to it. Heslin trying to get the perfect shot on target now. Heslin cracking it, but was always going wide of Paddy O'Rourke's goal. And it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity by Heslin, and you'd put your money on him to get those, and he was right to have a go because he's capable of doing so. Meath struggling, and to be on that pitch as a Meath player is difficult because you're looking around and you don't know where you're leaking from. It just seems to be collapse seems to be happening everywhere.
She's worried about what's going to happen. Meath fans are worried. Now, Tom, the question: have Westmeath the belief in themselves that they can actually win this game?
Well, they look like they do at the minute, Ger, but they need scores on the board to show it.
Jamie Ganood set up this next attack. Paul Sharry trying to win his own battle in there is Kieran Martin. He's had a very, very good match. Score of 2 goals and a point. Takes it back. Held on to there, just about by Lynch. Now Ray Kennellan. Kennellan's shot. The umpires go back, have a look, and wave the white flag. And Ray Kennellan from Athlone, the 20-year-old playing in his 4th championship match, has put just a goal between these teams. It's 2-17 for Meath. It's 2-14 for Westmeath.
And like John Heslin, Ray Kennellan is capable of that. He just needs to have the confidence to do it. On that occasion, he had no other option but to do it, and he did it with a certain amount of style. Meath in absolute 6s and 7s. They don't know where the game is going.
Paddy O'Rourke kicking. Possession vital. Holloway comes, takes it in decisively, lays it off to Caroon. Dennis Caroon. Well held by John Gilligan. Support here for John Kennellan. Crashes in there onto Eamon Wallace, and the referee again indicts the Meath man and gives the free kick to Westmeath. And now they can get it down to a 2-point margin. Well,
John Kennellan, since he's come on, all he's done is run at the ball, but a very soft free there for Westmeath. A great opportunity for John Heslin. I'm not sure about the decision. And is this coincidental with Graham Riley sending off Ger? I wonder. Everything seems to have collapsed since that.
The referee is not allowing it. No. It's all the number 24, Paul Greville, who's just come on the field a moment ago there. And the referee has decided that that is going to have to be taken again. The player going off, you saw there, John Gilligan, number 4. Well, he's certainly fired up Paul Greville. So it's going to be taken quickly, once again by John Heslin. Heslin takes the return ball into the D and over the bar. 7 for Heslin. The man who was 23 yesterday has put 2 between them here with about 11 minutes still to go at Croke Park.
Yeah, that's what the Westmeath supporters have been waiting for John Heslin to do for the last 2 or 3 years. He's fired up. All the Westmeath team are fired up. Meath, again, they're looking around, they're looking for leaders, but I fear their leader is sitting on the sideline making substitutions at the minute. They just need a little bit of composure. I don't see it happening at the minute. Where are the players to stand up now for Meath?
Brian Power, a young player, has come on in place of Andrew Tormey, and Power is a defender, and Meath are hanging on at this stage. Remember, they have never been beaten by Westmeath in 22 championship matches in Leinster up to today. Kevin Riley determined he won't be on the first Meath team to lose to the near neighbours. Bray, back to Menton. Next score is important for Meath. There's contact, there's a foul, there's a free in, and once again Meath can just restore a little bit of their composure and once again put 3 between the teams.
Yeah, and if Brian Menton has any sense, he'll stay down for a few minutes. He needs to take the steam out of the Westmeath attack and the whole Westmeath momentum at the minute. He's doing so. They should restore a little bit of composure to Meath.
Paul Greville, the one who he's just coming off the bench, was a little bit rash.
Yeah, but if John Connellan got the free at the other end, well then he's certainly entitled to at this end.
Mickey Newman has put 1 over from play already. Player has got 5 goals and 36 points in his championship career. This is only his 8th time to play for Meath in the championship. This is important, and that's over. Good free taken by Mickey Newman.
I'm still not sure does that give them the breathing space that they need. I still think the momentum is with Westmeath, and now possession absolutely crucial, and Westmeath have it and they can build from here.
Kevin Maguire out as far as Jamie Gunnooed. Well, ordinarily in football championship matches you don't have a requirement to put up the number of points the teams have scored just to make it easy for us, but this is a big high-scoring game. None of the negativity. Oh, that is a drag back by Tobin. Now we're in black card territory here, I think.
Has to be black, Ger. If Graham Riley's one was black, that has to be black. It was, yeah.
And he's gone. And he was the most experienced member of their full back line, where you had James McEntee and Conor McGill, novices at this level.
And you'd nearly think at this stage, if you were looking at me, that fitness is an issue. They just don't seem to have the legs that they had in the first half anywhere on the pitch, either in defence or in midfield or in attack. Where are their forwards gone that looked incredible in the first half?
Where has the match gone? Because at one stage they were 10 points behind Westmeath. John Heslin to put it back to a 2-point game once again. Moving smartly and putting it over the bar with great accuracy. He's got an 8th.
Absolutely brilliant kicking. Great stuff by John Heslin. Supporters will be delighted with that. He's shown great leadership out there. He's taking responsibility, and the other players are responding to it.
Joey Wallace, the 19-year-old, has come on. 2:18 to 2:16. Donica Tobin, the player who was black-carded. But that's a forward on for a defender. And they're losing their way completely, Meath. Heslin has got it again. Can he put it over the bar? Oh, he strikes the post this time. Almost under-hit it.
Oh, he didn't know what to do with it, Ger. That's all that happened. He was indecisive with it. Westmeath still in possession. He was looking for the goal, Ger. He was looking for it. He was right.
Went off Brian Power. It's back in there, and there's a foul this time, and it's by David Dalton, son of Davy, the Kildare star of yesteryear. Kildare versus Dublin, the next match up here on the Sunday game live at 4 o'clock. Let's hope it's as good as this one. Back it comes again. Paul Greville starting it. John Heslin trying to complete it. Missed an easy chance a moment ago. Jerry Egan, down he went, but the referee says it wasn't. Shoulder to shoulder by Brian Power.
Not another black, Ger. Surely not another black. I don't think it was.
Well, it would be worth having a look at that again.
Yeah, here we go. Ball fed off. Goes for the ball. Man tumbles over. Yeah, it's not a big tackle. It's not a dirty one. We've seen plenty of those this afternoon.
Egan's back on his feet again, and the referee is having words with Brian Power. Surely it's just a yellow.
Yellow card, I think. Certainly if he's taken his name, it's a yellow card. I'd say he doesn't want to flash another black one.
If you've joined us late, referee Conor Lane has given 2, that's a yellow, 2 black cards to Meath's players this afternoon. Graham Riley, very controversially, and also Donica Tobin. 2:18 to 2:16. That could change in a moment here. As you can see, 6 minutes remaining. Place of the Leinster final this year at stake here. It really now is anybody's game. He's got it, and he's got a 9th. 5 of the 9 points have come from frees. Westmeath don't care how they come. They are now 2:18 to 2:17 down with just a point.
And all his scores in the second half have been absolutely absolutely crucial, inspiring scores. It's there for Westmeath for the first time ever, an opportunity, a real opportunity to beat Meath in championship football.
John Egan, another very experienced player coming on to replace Dennis Corroon.
And it's actually awful to be a manager on the sideline for Meath at the minute. You're looking out there, you have absolutely no control whatsoever. The game is slipping away. You're looking for leaders out there, they're not stepping up. You look behind you, they're not on the sideline. You're just living in hope.
It has been awful for Meath fans in the second half, but maybe now that'll change. Harnon's pass onto Mickey Newman, still Newman. Well stopped by the goalkeeper Darren Quinn, out as far as Kevin Maguire. Great match this, none of the old negativity that we've been seeing in the championship in recent years with hand pass after hand pass and blanket defence. Maybe there's a bit of naivety about it, maybe some of the football hasn't been great, maybe there have been errors, but look at the number of scores we've had. 2-18, 2-17, almost like a hurling score, and we're into the last 4.5 minutes of this Leinster semi-final, and Glennon is coming from Westmeath. He's seen all the disappointments in the past where they've never managed to beat Meath. That one is blocked down there. That shot by Ray Kennellan. Still there. Martin, the goal scorer. 2 goals already. Comes again. This, and that one's over the bar, and they are level. 10 behind at one stage. The 4 minutes to go. Meath 2-18. Westmeath 2-18. And Kieran Martin's got 2 goals and 2 points.
What a game. What a display. What a point by Martin. We said at the beginning of the second half, Westmeath supporters want to see a bit of spirit from their team. They're getting it in absolute bucket loads, and the Meath supporters are getting the reverse. What can they do now? It's anybody's game, but you have to fancy Westmeath. Will the psychology of the tradition of this kick in, or can Westmeath push on?
His team has scored just 1 point in the last 15 minutes. Meanwhile, Westmeath have scored 1 goal and 7 points. Tom Cribben's team has momentum, but they haven't got history on their side. But the heck with history. These Westmeath fans are determined this will be their day. Will it? The next 4 minutes will tell the story.
And what a display by Kieran Martin and John Hesden. Single-handedly or together, they've dragged this game by the scruff of the neck, taken responsibility, come up with absolutely tremendous scores, and they're running at Kieran Martin. He just cannot be stopped.
Paddy O'Rourke needed treatment. That has also given his team a breather, a chance just to try and get a sense of where they are at this stage. Not a bad time to take a little time out, as it were.
Well, I think it's a breather he was looking for more than anything else. I think there was very little in terms of injury. The referee is calling a time. He's going to add it on. There'll be absolutely plenty of time for either of these teams to win this game.
James McEntee, I think, requires treatment as a replacement sub is going to be required. McEntee's got blood on his hand here. 20-year-old, off he goes to be attended to there by the physio.
And just a few minutes ago, Jerry, you mentioned Mickey Newman going through on goal. He had the opportunity to close out that game with a pass or at least take a score, and they look back at that and they will certainly rue that opportunity.
So the next possession in midfield will be determined by the referee throwing the ball up. Look at the clock, 68 minutes, 2 to go. Plus, I would imagine at least 2, maybe 3 minutes of added time.
And that little cameo there as the ball dropped and 3 or 4 players diving in for it. That typified the game in the second half. Pure courage.
Won by Meath. They battle for it. And in the end, that ball is won there by Damien Carroll, the blood sub who came in, but he fell on the ball, and the free kick has gone to Westmeath for handling the ball on the ground. Dennis Kennellan way back there.
What's he doing there, Gerard? I don't know.
They need him inside. Is there to be a winner this afternoon? Paul Sharry. It's very much advantage Westmeath in terms of what they've achieved in the second half. After being well and truly out of it in the opening half, you heard our panel at half-time. Nobody really gave Westmeath a ghost of a chance. But they're coming again. And that was a lovely ball by John Egan into the corner, and again it's Kieran Martin. Got the last point when he puts over the bar. He's fisted this one, and this one's gone over the bar as well. Westmeath are beating Meath, And there's a minute to go, and Kieran Martin's got 2 goals and 3 points in a sensational performance by the Lake County men here against their great old rivals in the Leinster semi-final.
And you saw in the replay how he did it. He cut in along the end line exactly like the other one. But we talked about the naivety of the Westmeath defence in the first half. That was shameful stuff by Meath, allowing him in a second time on the end line.
And now it's down to Meath to see what they can do. David Dalton. Can the substitutes they brought on in the second half produce something? They need a score just to level the game. Dalton still kicking it down. Kept in play here. Brian Menton laying it off brilliantly. Here's a chance. Harnan into the goal area there where Brian McMahon has lost it, and it's turned over to Ray Canellan. Canellan looks for support. The support player is Paddy Holloway on his shoulder. Back out to Canellan once again. The youngsters, 20 years of age, all the way down the field here, gathered in by John Canellan. Have you seen a better Westmeath performance than this they've given in the second half? John Heslin now has a support player, may not need him, goes for it, he scored! A goal by John Heslin to go with the 9 points he's already scored, and surely now it's Westmeath, Tom Cribben's team in the Leinster final. 2 minutes of injury time being played. We're already 35 seconds into that. What a conclusion, and they're still coming again, and it's Kieran Martin from inside the D, high up into the air. Paddy O'Rourke goes up the field, takes it down.
This is incredible stuff, Ger. Absolutely lightning stuff by Westmeath. Where are Meath gone? What has happened? The tradition is gone. Their team is gone. Westmeath have taken total control of this game. Something special has happened in Croke Park this afternoon for Westmeath football.
They were 8 behind at half-time, and it's another card, this time against Paddy O'Rourke. He's got a red. He's been sent off to go with the 2 black cards. It's bad enough to be losing players like this on a black day for Meath football. He crashed in there to Kieran Martin and got a red card.
And rightfully so, he did, out of pure frustration, pure hurt. He knows the game is gone. He's in a frame of mind, he doesn't care. That's why he's gone off the pitch, because he thinks there's no point in staying on it. It's gone for them. Look at the manager, total lost, doesn't know what to do, and in fairness, many managers have been in that position.
Look what the fans are doing. We're just waiting now for the seconds to tick down. All of the hurt over the years, the near misses. We saw Desi Dolan's free that went wide back around 2001 against Meath. They drew and then they lost the replay heavily. And right now it's John Heslin who's got a goal and 9 already out of a tally of 3-19. 4 points the margin, and this calm as you like, but he puts it wide. Too calm, but there is the final whistle. It's all over. We've seen history made at Croke Park this afternoon. An unbelievable contest. What a performance by Westmeath in the second half. They were 2-12 to 1-7 down at the break, down by 8 points, but joy all around, unconfined for Westmeath fans. Year after year after year, they've seen the near neighbours win, lord it over them, go on to Leinster finals, but for Stephen Bray and company, it's a bad day. They go to the qualifiers. Ger Egan, captain of Westmeath, he and his team will be playing in the Leinster final this year, and the final score here is Westmeath 3 goals and 19 points, Meath 2 goals and 18. They've won by 4. What a day, what a football match at Croke Park. I just think it rekindles the championship. It's the match that people were waiting for to really light up Championship 2015, and it's come alive at Croke Park.
It's come alive in what we think is the curtain raiser to what was to be the big game. The next one couldn't be as big as this, but Ger, I have seldom seen a collapse like this from Meath. I've seldom seen a comeback like this from Westmeath. They did it all, they played all the football, they showed all the confidence, and you have to take your hat off to John Heslin and all those guys that followed him out there. Kieran Martin, what a virtuoso display as a full forward in the second half with a number 6 on his back. Naivety from Meath, brilliance from Westmeath, and they do march into a Leinster final and can do so with a lot of confidence.
Thanks indeed, Tom. Let's go to Joanne Cantwell.
Kieran Martin, what a performance from you, what a performance from Westmeath. Have you any idea what you've done to this Westmeath crowd here? Were you aware of what it did to them, that victory?
Look, we knew coming in it was going to be tough. We didn't expect to be down by that much at half time. We came just to be in the game, but look, we knew we had it in us. We worked hard for the last 7 months. And it's unbelievable feeling.
It clearly means an awful lot to Westmeath people, not just the victory. Is it because you've beaten Meath for the first time or finally back in a Leinster final?
I suppose it's a bit of both. There's a huge rivalry between us. And it's to get our first win ever in Championship, but to do it that way, it just makes it even better.
But to do it your way as well. Tell us about those goals.
I've been known to score a few goals, just be in the right place at the right time. But look, it's a team effort at the end of the day. It's still Westmeath on the scoreboard, so it doesn't matter who gets them.
What was the difference between that first half and the second half?
I think a lot of it was nerves. We had a lot of people here that never played here before. But look, it takes a while to get into the game. But we still knew at half-time that we weren't out of it. We knew if we got the first few scores, we were straight back into it. And we built on from there.
And is that the sort of performance and is that the sort of team that can go on now and win a Leinster title?
Well, look, it's another day. Anything can happen. We're just going to give it 100%.
Well, Kieran Martin, you're going to terrorise more defences, I'm sure. Well done today.
Thanks, mate.